has to be on live. Try it again. Oh, I knocked that over. But it wasn't on, so that's okay. I can turn it on now. Hey, what's going on out there, you guys? Hey, what's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here from Marty Music, but happy to be joining you guys on Gibson guitar right now. We're on doing a live stream Back to Basics, which is covering, lots of guitar fundamentals. Real quick, want to shout out Gibson and thank them for having me on. I'm rocking the Cherry SG right now. But anyway, huge shout out to Gibson, you guys, for having me. And we're going to talk about blues progressions. So I want to get right into it. But you guys can, any questions you have, we're talking about blues progressions, feel free to chime in with the questions that you have as I go along. And, hopefully whether you're beginner or intermediate, you'll get some ideas out of this. I'm going to start with the key of E. So blues and E. You basically have 3 chords to mess with and lots of things to do with it. So you'd have what's called the 1-4-5. Chan from YouTube, is that the SG61 reissue? Yes, it's the 60s SG. And man, this thing plays so amazing. It's new. So this is from 2020 and they're just making them amazing. So yeah, 61 stop bar SG. So let's talk about the 3 chords of blues and E. You've got an E7 chord, which is just like an E major with your ring finger off. Then you have what's called the 4 chord, which is an A7. And there's lots of variations on that. And then you have what's called the 5 chord, which is the B7. So that's like the structure of the blues. But right off the bat, something I want to show you guys is pretty easy to play. And it's there's some variations, but this just classic turnaround right here. Cars and Guitars from Instagram. What's up out there? Hope you're doing well. Les Paul or SG? Well, I feel like, it's hard to beat a Les Paul and just like the truest rock, blues rock, southern rock. It's hard to beat the Les Paul. However, what's sweet about the SG is you're getting a lot of the features of the Les Paul, but it's a much lighter playing guitar. So it's really a preference. Sorry about that. But so it's really a preference. I really enjoy playing live with an SG because Try and close this, but it doesn't seem to close. All right. So, turn around. Yes, I was just saying the SG is really fun to play live with a strap because you get that throatiness of the humbucker pickups, but a little bit lighter than a Les Paul. Although it is really hard to beat the power of Les Paul. All right, turn around. Key of E. The first one that's pretty easy is 4th fret on the G string with your middle finger, and 3rd fret on the B string with your index finger. And you can let the open high E ring out. So I'm just playing that G, B, and high E, 4th fret, 3rd fret. Then you just move it down a half step, then another half step, and then an E7 chord. And when you play that E7, if you can hammer on that 1st fret of the G string, like that, so. Hit an E chord right before it. And then 0, 1, 2 on the A string. And you got the E7, A7, back to the E7. You can throw it in there. Now back to the A7. Then turn around again. Now there's variations. Instead of having the open high E ring out, you can add, think of it as this classic D7 shape. Exact same everything, except now I'm playing the high E instead of letting the open high E ring out. Now, if you guys are just tuning in right now, want to thank you for watching. We're jamming with a Gibson guitar right now, talking about blues basics, back to basics, revving up your blues chord progressions and just adding some spice to them. So far what we did is we're just talking about the key of E, and we did 2 different kind of turnarounds right here. Now, another thing I want to talk about, and I've made quite a few videos on this over the years, it's called the land of A7. And so if you play an A7 chord with your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D and ring finger on the 2nd fret of the B, you can move that middle finger up to the 4th fret and then index finger on the 3rd fret of the B. So then the original A7 shape on the 5th fret of the D and the B. So you can move up, climb up that little spot right there for the 4 chord. And then also we have that turnaround now. So instead of just a basic 12-bar blues, we've got a few things to add to it. So I'll demonstrate now. If you want to solo along with me, cool. If you want to play the rhythm with me, I'll try and talk us through it. All right, here we go. Here comes the land. Oh. So that was just the land of A7 for the 4 chord. Instead of just an A7, Now, Grandpa Rod from YouTube. Grandpa Rod, how are you? I hope you're having a good holiday. He says he knows the pentatonic scales, but someone told him that the blues scales are similar. Is that true? Yes, all the blues scales referring to is the minor pentatonic scale with one little passing tone, which is called the flat 5, which is a blues note. That's what we call it. And so if you're in the key of E, which we are just playing, the only difference between the E minor pentatonic and the E blues scale, the E minor pentatonic is 03, 02, 02, 02, 03, 03. We're talking about the key of E, and then vice versa. So what you have to do is add a passing tone on the first fret of the A string. So it's just the minor pentatonic with that little extra flavor of seasoning there. So the other spot for that is the 3rd fret G string. Now, if you play that flat 5 on its own, it doesn't sound good as like a tone that you lay on. It only sounds good passing up to a half step or down a half step. Same thing on that 3rd fret of the G. Now, Steve from Facebook says, do different turnarounds work with different tempos of songs, or are they all the same basic turnaround? There's lots of variations to the blues in general, but a basic turnaround usually takes up that same amount of time. Bo do 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 bo do bo, and with tons of unlimited variation. The only two we did in this little session was one with the open high E, and then the one where we do cover the high E. E7. Now A7. E7. Now A7 again. That land of A7 bit. E7. Then B7. A7. We're going to do that turnaround. Here we go. B7. One more time through. Solo if you can. 1, 2. Here we go. Scale. played licks. Here we go. All right, so we're talking about spicing up your blues progressions. And there's a lot of different styles of blues. In fact, the very first thing I played in this live stream was more of a Chuck Berry style. And so I'm just going to talk about that. Then I'm going to talk about a classic kind of thing that I think of with Clapton that he did when he did a kind of old style blues progression. And I'll walk you through that as well. Also, if you want to, brush up on any of this stuff, it's going to be archived on the Gibson Instagram, Gibson Facebook, and the Gibson YouTube. Okay, so here we are. We're going to change keys. C power chord, which is 8 on the E string, 10 on the A. And then you just add your pinky up a whole step on that A string. And then to play the 4 chord, you scoot it over back to the 1. Then on the 5 chord, you can play it up a whole step from the 4. So 10th on the A, no 4 chord in the turnaround for the Chuck Berry. So 5, 1. So watch again. 1, da, 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 da. 4, back to 1. G, 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 back to 1. One more time. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Woo! 4, 4 for 4, back to 1. 5, back to 1. So that's the Chuck Berry thing. Power to the Amplifier on Instagram said, wait, what's that walk up and down you did with the E? Well, I'm not sure which part you were referring to, but that blues scale, 03, 01, 2, 02, backwards, 2, 0, 2, 1, 0, hammer on pull off on that 1 on the A string, 3, 0. Like that. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing great.
What do we got? You got any comments or that you want to hit?
Oh no, Power to the Amp also said, I'm genuinely playing along and I just realized I can't solo at all.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. And I've also got another guest here in the house, but he's hiding, but his name's Dave, my old friend. Dave, you feeling good?
Feeling good?
Good to see you, man. Okay, let me talk. So yeah, I'm not sure about that walk down or walk up, but there, that blues scale passing tone is a big part of the blues sound. So that was the 3rd fret G string there in the E blues scale. And then the 1st fret on the A string with the open string. And then 3rd to the E. All right, so I'm going to just totally change it up and play more of an old style bluesy type of progression. and I think you guys will like it. There's some cool movements in it, and it just breaks up things from that classic 12-bar blues. So we're going to start with a C major chord, and then we're going to go to E7, which is just like E major with the ring finger off. So C major, E7, A7. So watch this. C. And so when you play the E7 chord, after you let it strum out, hit the high E, then I'm grabbing the 3rd fret of the B string, and then that note transitions to the A7 chord. So watch. And then on that A7, I'm adding the 3rd fret high E. So C, E7, A7. Then D minor, A7, D minor. It's a nice little sound there. So C, E7, A7, D minor, A7, D minor. One more little thing, we could kind of call this the turnaround of this song. So let me go back to the beginning for that. C, E7, A7, but you can add that little melody in there. Then D minor, A7, D minor. And then it's an F chord, and it's F sharp diminished, but you can play just an F sharp note. F, 4th fret on the D. So F, 4th fret on the D. Then from the C chord, you can just play the single notes. 3, 2, 1, O on the A string. And then that A7 chord. So from the top, C, E7, A7, D minor, A7, D minor, F sharp note, C, da, da, A7, then finally D7 to G7. Here we go again. C, E7, A7, D minor, A7, D minor, F sharp, C, walk down to A7, D7, G7, you can play D minor, A7 right here as well, F up here, F sharp, C, walk down to A, D7, G7. So I'm gonna go back to that because that type of progression is a little jazzier, and so it changes keys throughout. But you can play the C major pentatonic over that as an outline, and then hit some of the chord tones. So I'll talk about that in a sec. But I've got another question here from Facebook. Jason from Facebook. What's up, Jason? How are you? He said, was there a point where it all just clicked for you? I've been messing around for years and it still hasn't clicked. It feels like I'm wasting my time trying to learn guitar. Well, I'd say one of the big things is try to break the negative kind of cycle of thinking about it. And then as far as just all of a sudden one day clicking, I don't think it really works that way. I think what you're going for is tiny little goals and tiny little breakthroughs. which then add to the next breakthrough. So, I mean, everyone's been discouraged playing guitar before, and everyone reaches plateaus. I mean, I'm on a multi-year plateau myself, but I've been, at least I have a lot that I've learned along the way to try and pass along and keep the fundamentals going. Now, my two friends that are here, my friend Brian, that's moderating, and then my friend Dave's just visiting for the holidays. We were friends before I played guitar, so uh, there was never one day where it just clicked for me. Don't you think? I was just playing lots of easy chords and learned one extra chord that was a little bit harder than the easy ones. And then I was like, okay, I know all the basic open chords on acoustic. I can play some of that, but I'll never play bar chords. I'm not going to be a guitar player. I just want to strum some chords for fun. I'm not going to try and pursue this. All right, show me one bar chord. All right, show me two bar chords, but I'll never solo. I'll never do lead guitar. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. All right, show me that one lick though, All right, show me two licks. All right, show me the scale that lick comes from. So I feel like it's about those kind of tiny breakthroughs that you have to keep reaching. And, all I can say is you got to just set tiny little goals and, try and play 5 minutes every single day, which I say 5 minutes because a lot of times that turns into 20 minutes. Or if you have one of those little breakthroughs, it turns into an hour. So that's what 5 minutes is, hoping that you play more, but 5 minutes is like the habit that you're going to pick up the guitar every single day. And all I can say is, people in life have different strengths and weaknesses, and you just have to harness the strengths into your own guitar playing. One of the things I think about is Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins. He worshipped Eddie Van Halen, but he was never good enough to play as Eddie Van Halen. But him trying to be like Eddie Van Halen developed his own unique style. Literally not being as good as Van Halen developed his own style of him trying to sound like Van Halen. So all I can say is, like, I really feel like you can do it. Anyone out there, not just my friend Jason from Facebook, but anyone out there, you see, and I know even me, like, I'm playing through, a bunch of blues scales and stuff. And if you're just starting, that can be discouraging. Like, oh, I'll never get there. But I will tell you, I still remember, like, going to the beach because I live here in San Diego and grew up in Orange County. But I remember, like, going to the beach, high school age, did not play guitar. And I still remember so vividly two guys at the beach playing acoustic guitars. One guy was like, and the other guy was, and they were just jamming for the love of it. And I just remember, like, zoning in on that, going like, wow, I'll never, not just how cool it was, but that is some, like, talent you're born with that I will never have. And it was not true. But you definitely have to cut that repeating negative cycle, which we all deal with in so many different ways. I can relate to it. So you just got to set those tiny little goals, like 5 minutes a day. Even if you're telling yourself, oh, I'm just going to review the basic chords that I know, you're forcing yourself to do it and do it and do it. And I got to tell you, it's a golden age of learning the guitar or learning an instrument with the vast amount of free videos out there on YouTube. In fact, if I know a good YouTube guitar teacher, I'll let you know. That's a joke. Brian, are you watching Instagram over there?
Oh yeah.
Any important things to bring up while you're there?
South America's showing up, man. I think we've got people from each country.
South America.
Yeah.
Some Brazil flags going?
Oh, big time, man. But not just Brazil. I mean, we need to get some Spanish and Portuguese in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I speak zero Portuguese, although your significant other is Brazilian, so you've picked up some Portuguese, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And your daughter, does she understand Portuguese?
She does. She does.
That is fun. All right, you guys. So let's play that Clapton style progression again before we wrap up here. I'm going to say the chords again, and I'm going to loop it, and then I'm going to show you that you could plug in think I have a sneeze coming.
Does Clapton borrow from BB?
Excuse me. There's more coming. Yes, heavily influenced by BB King. I'm gonna fight through the sneeze. All right. C, E7, A7. D minor, A7, D minor, F, F sharp, C down to A, D7, G7. I'm gonna loop it. C, E7, A7, D minor, A7, D minor, F, F sharp, C down to A, D7, G7. There it is. Now we can play. I sneezed on beat. So now C major pentatonic as the outline for the progression. First chord C, right? Oh yeah, sneezing on the beat there, no problem. It happens, right? Right. Just want to thank you guys again, and also thank Gibson Guitar again for having me on these. We got, the holidays and the new year coming up. So if I don't see you guys, I just want to wish you happy holidays, happy new year. Hopefully you get some new guitars for the holidays, or you've gotten one already. And Brian, any final things over there?
I think if anybody wants a guitar for Christmas, they have to buy it themselves, right?
My beard's not long and gray enough, but I'm working on it. All right, we're gonna do one more. Let's go back to the classics in E, and you guys can jam along with me. And just want to thank you again. Thank Gibson again. Thank Brian again. Dave, always good to see you, man. All right, here we go. We're gonna Texas blues style it a little bit, but it's gonna be the key of E. All right, so I want you to jam with me. If you know the chords, it's E7, A7, and B7, but we're gonna pep it up. And if you can solo, it's any kind of blues you know in E. Here we go. train. Hey, yes. Anyway, thanks a lot, you guys, for watching. Once again, shout out to Gibson. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. We'll see you guys real soon. Take care of yourself. You hear? But do